Good evening, folks. I'm going to tell you a story today. It's a personal story. A story of meeting these people, the Agariyas, and that old man. But before that, let me just give some background. You're all familiar with the Delhi pillar. You know, the largest piece of iron anywhere in the world at the time, 1500 years ago, and you can see the fine workmanship that has been done. But then this is the most famous. India is strewn with this kind of pieces all over. This is the pillar at Dhar. It is broken into 3 pieces because somebody tried to move it. It is larger than the Delhi pillar. This is a thin pillar on top of the Sahyadris where the rainfall is 3000 millimeters and the humidity is very high, and you can see it's not very badly rested, and so on. There are so many of them. I was aware of them, but as a metallurgist, I never thought I should look at these pieces, who made them, and so on. Because you see, I was a product of the 1960s, which was a romantic period for science. Sputnik, Yuri Gagarin, Apollo mission, man on the moon, supersonic airliners. And as a young boy, I fell in love with science. Infatuated, in fact. It's that science is all wisdom, the rest of the things didn't matter. And that's how I grew up. Went to college, and then to PhD at IIT Kanpur. Then I came here, but they gave me a job and paid me money to do what I love the most, teaching and research. And I was having a ball. 40 years of my life had gone like that in a flash. Everything was nice. And then this encounter happened, or this event took place. It happened like this. One day, into my cabin pops in Dr. Mahesh Sharma, and he had a few photographs, and he shows me and tells me he has found an old man, very old man called Nagu, of the Birjia Asur clan among the Agariyas, in a place called Bishunpur. Bishunpur is in Jharkhand, deep in the Adivasi area. And the Nagu had reconstructed this furnace of making iron from his early age memory. And I should take a look at it as a metallurgist and study it. I said, yeah, very good, very interesting. I'll take a look at it. And I got rid of him. Or so I thought. At the same time, this friend of mine, Ballal from Chennai, he was studying traditional technologies, and he was trying to entice me into studying the same trade. Ballal was a good persuader, but I was still not persuaded. Then, a few months later, Dr. Sharma again sends me an invitation to attend a workshop on the Agariyas at Bishunpur, in the Adivasi area. At the time I thought, nice forest place, what the heck, let me go, nice outing. So I went there. First day, introduction, and some talk. And on that night, we were to visit this Nagu's place, which is on top of a hill, about 3 to 4 kilometers up the hill, away from the place where we were staying. And around 12 o'clock in the night we start. Okay? A slightly moonlit night, 10, 15 of us with torches going up this kind of a hill. Just close your eyes and imagine. Around 4 in the morning, we are nearing the top. 4 in the morning is the time when nature becomes silent. The wind dies down. The cricket has stopped making noise. Maybe an occasional screech of the owl to remind you how quiet it is. And then you hear this sound. As though some giant animal is panting. Faint it was, and as we near the top, it was becoming louder. And we reach the top, and there is faint glow, blue flame from the furnace, and these shadowy figures around it. The old man Nagu bent over the furnace, and this tall, elegant lady working the bellows furiously, and there was this small boy who was their great-grandson, apparently, helping her out. Just imagine, this was an electric moment. This was hypnotic. I fell into a trance at that point. This is a magic moment, happens only once or twice in your lifetime, isn't it? I was bowled over. Before we come back to the story of the Agariyas, let us look at a few details of the process to understand what these Agariyas are. So, that is work somewhere near Ranchi and that corner. That is where Bishunpur is, about maybe 300 kilometers away from Ranchi. And just to locate where you are, that is Allahabad, and this is Nagpur. And this is a schematic of the furnace. Very unassuming, about a meter high or less, made of mud. And of course, there may be a platform where you keep your raw materials and feed. And then there are these bellows, foot operated, please note, and then through which you blow the air through it. The furnace is filled with charcoal and then iron ore periodically, work for about 4 to 5 hours. At the end, you will have the piece of iron. And there are many furnaces. This is the man I was talking about, Nagu Birjia, of uncertain age at that time. And he is preparing the furnace. This is of one kind. And there are many other furnaces. The one on the left top is from Balaghat, slim, slightly tall. One on the right is quite a tall, upright furnace. You look at the lady, she owns the furnace. How proud she is of her furnace. That is a small furnace from Wadraf Nagar. These are all different furnaces. And then later we understood that this is because they are of different raw materials. Of course, the one on this corner is our apology that we built at TEDxIITBombay. This is an interesting furnace which is underground, dugout furnace. Anyway, please note that this photograph is taken in dark night. It's with a flash, of course, and this is important. Raw materials, of course, iron ore, which can be lumps, or from the river you get some magnetite sand. The charcoal has to be from hardwoods, sal or teak. All these mango or jamun, etc. would not do at all. It will work in the smithy. And that is a different story on that. Let's move on. So this is the bellow, which works. This is a foot-operated bellows. There is a box of wood covered with the skin, goat skin maybe, with a hole there, and you stand on the edge of the box, and with your heel you close the hole, and then press, and you do it alternatively, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, for about 4 to 5 hours, 100 to 120 times a minute, more than a marathon. I lasted only 5 minutes on this. That's how the process goes on. You light the fire from the bottom, fill with charcoal, and then you keep the fire up, and you alternatively add charcoal and iron ore, and at the end of 5 hours, you have your iron. Of course, you have to see that the process runs well, and that is done by looking at their process control is to look at the slag which flows out, just like we metallurgists do. If the slag flows well, all is well. Otherwise, everything is lost. Please keep that in mind. And at the end of 4 hours, you open the temporary wall, take out the bloom, and then softly forge it to squeeze out the slag, because there is slag still entrapped inside. Please note that. And then, of course, you have the ingot, and then the standard smithy operation, you can make it into implements and so on. That's just the background of the technology. Let's come back to the story. Who are these people? Who are these people who developed this technology in this country almost 3,500 years ago? And then maintained this for such a long time and reached this excellence. What is the magic? What is their magic? What is their myth, so-called? What are their... I'll just give you a few examples. What it did to us. One of their myths is that sun is their enemy. Sun, God, is their enemy. So they should not work the furnace in the daytime. They will work the furnace only in the night. Rather superstitious, isn't it? Working this heavy work in the middle of the night. We try to unravel this. See, iron-making technology is a very difficult technology for those times, till the modern science came. Because you work at the highest temperature that you can reach with a charcoal fire in the ordinary air, which is about 1400 degrees Celsius. And moisture in the air can bring the temperature down. And it can, I've just shown a graph here, it can come down by about 100 degrees if the moisture is very high. So during the day cycle, when is the moisture very low? When the dew has fallen. Because moisture, atmosphere has got rid of the moisture. If it has got rid of the moisture, moisture is low. So what should you do? You should work through the night and be ready to take out the iron just before the sun comes up. That's what they did. But then, you and I, with pants or whatever shirts, go into the village in the daytime. What will you find? You will find the Asur and the Asurayan are sleeping. So what will you call them? The lazy Agariya. Ironic, isn't it? Yeah, so, and that their passion is to be believed. They have nothing other than iron at all. Their gods are all Lohasur. The iron which sits inside the furnace is Lohasur, piece of iron, Agniyasur for fire, Koilasur, and they are propitiated with the sacrifice of boar or whatever. And their culture is also about iron. The marriage rules. For example, these are the two kinds of bellows which are there. One on the right is hand bellows. They are also used in iron smelting by some people. One on the left is... And these are two different kinds of furnaces. So those are called the Has Dukhas. Dukha is the bellow. And the Gord Dukhas. Okay? The Gord Dukhas and the Hat Dukhas will not marry. Because technology will be compromised. They are different technologies. And then, how boring can they be? Even their love song is about iron. This little girl doesn't know how to work the bhatti bhai. This little boy doesn't know how to beat the iron. Oh, I wish I could sing them in their, karma song style. But you see, everything is about iron. That's why they're called the dull Agariyas. Agariyas are the dullest of all the Adivasis. And then even in their dream, it is iron. Once apparently the Lohasur, the Asur was not getting good iron in his furnace. So very worried, he goes to sleep. And then in the sleep, Lohasur himself comes, the god of iron, and he asks, Asur asks Lohasur Baba, why are you not sitting inside my furnace? And Lohasur says, you have not made a simhasan for me. You've not made a seat for me. And Asur gets a clue. Next day, Asurain makes a seat for the Lohasur from Kodo, millet chaff. And lo and behold, Asur has, Lohasur has sat inside. And you see, they would not use they were aware of this hand blower, which is so much easier to use. That they were using it in the smithy, but they would not use it in the bellows, in their bhatti. Again, such hard work, hand blowers are so much easier. So we in our furnace, we did some experiment, and you see it makes sense, because the hand bellow operation and the blower operation, it's a difference of almost 50-60 degrees. It's make or break. Whether you make the iron or not make the iron, because if the slag is not molten, you can't squeeze out the slag, there is no iron, it will all break into pieces. And this gave us great insights and great this thing into pulsed operations. So we had pulsed reduction, and then pulsed heat transfer, and so on, 2 PhDs, 3 MTechs. So much so, people started calling me pulsed Ballal or something. So like this. So studying the Agariyas and their trade has been a very great enriching experience for me and my colleagues. I hope you have enjoyed it too. And what is the takeaway? Dialogue with other paradigms of knowledge can be very enriching. And this takes place with humility. Thank you. These are all, of course, I have not done all the work. These are all the people who helped me. A special mention should be all the good photographs are by my student Shirish Wagulde, who did the documentation, and the bad ones are by me. Thank you very much.